All right, welcome back. It's day 4 of our Google Ads Assessment Challenge. Once again, we're not teaching you how to build Google Ads. We're teaching you how to audit Google Ads to make sure that whoever's running these for you knows what they're doing. Joining me, as always, is my business partner and our company's chief strategist, John Moran. John, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me yet again.
And we are we're going to talk about ad strategy and copy. So how do we make sure that this is on point?
Yeah, so ad strategy is really important, especially for search campaigns, because you want to appear as relevant as possible to whoever is looking for your product or service. And as always, I'll share my screen here. All right. And one thing that I wanted to mention that's really important is there's actually a score inside of Google Ads that tells you if you're doing a good job at this, along with if it's also being displayed properly on the landing page. So as in the previous video, when we talked about ad structure from a campaign perspective, we have our campaigns built out fairly granularly, depending upon what type of service that we're offering for this particular client. And I'm just going to open up all ad groups so I can share with you how granular this account is. We have actually 70 different ad groups, and you'll see they all have the -SOL8 at the end. And the reason why we have so many different ad groups is because we have many different ways that a user is going to search for about 4 particular products that we have. And it's really important to break out your ad groups in a very high rate. You don't want 50 or 60 per campaign, but you want to be able to structure your ad groups fairly diversely so that your ads will show really well to the user who is searching for it. And I'll give you an example. If we keep all of the ad groups open and we just open up the keywords, you'll find that the keywords are very similar to the ad group. Obviously, an ad group is a group of keywords and ads, and so we want to make sure that each keyword and ad inside that ad group is very relevant. That also then will stem towards ad copy, which is the point of the video. But I want you to understand how we got here in the first place. So having keywords that are talking about construction billing software is good for the ad group of construction billing software. Cost tracking, you'll see in the ad group of cost tracking. Project tracking, you'll see that the project tracking, and so on and so forth. So when you have those keywords broken out by broken out by ad group, the ad copy can be very, very relevant. And if I sort by ad group, you'll see that we have all of our ad groups here on the 3rd column, and there are many, many different types of ad groups. One thing you'll notice is that the ads are very relevant to the ad group, and if you remember, the keyword is also very relevant to that ad group. So workforce management software talks about workforce management software. If you're talking about contractors, you'll have for construction contractors, for companies, you'll have for construction companies, and so on and so forth. So even subcontracting software, you want to have your ad structure being relevant to software for subcontractors, because remember, so is that keyword in there. So the way that you have a very segmented campaign structure from an ad perspective is making sure that if someone is searching for a subcontracting software, your ad that shows for that, it says, hey, it's software for subcontractors. It's very, very relevant. If you have an ad group that has 100 keywords and 3 ads, there's so many different ways that people are going to search, but you'll have limitations on what you can display as an ad copy. So hopefully those people that are searching can make that mental connection, make that leap that, okay, this is the right place what I'm looking for. And if not, your click-through rate is going to be not that great. Industry average click-through rate is about 0.5% to 2%. Our interaction rate just for last, I think it was since January 1 is about 4.20, which is a little bit more than double the national average, which is great. And that's because we highly segment what our offering is based on what people are searching for.
Okay, so if I'm the business owner and I want to log in here and review this, I just open up Google Ads, and where do I go?
If you open up Google Ads, open up just your main campaign, I guess. If you have just a main campaign, open that up. And for ours is construction software. It's where we have majority of the conversions and most of the interest is coming from. So in construction software, the first thing you should see is a fair amount of ad groups, depending upon your business. For example, let's choose a simple one. If you have a dog grooming company, you should have ad groups for dog groomers, dog kennels, dog boarding, whatever it may be. Any of one of your services should have at least an ad group for it, so that when you bid on that keyword, you should have ad group. So you should have a good amount of ad groups. Then open up the keywords tab. And what's nice about, as soon as you open up the keywords tab, you'll see what keyword is in what ad group. And those should match at a very high level. They should be almost identical. And if it's not, that might be an indication that you have 3 or 4 different keywords that generally talk about the same thing, but no one went through the process of breaking them out. And last thing, hop into your ad copy. If you hop into your ad copy and your ads don't match the ad group, that's an indication that your keyword's not matching that ad. So when someone searches for that keyword, you're not getting a relevant ad. So you should have a very high level of consistency and congruency through your ad groups, your ads, and your keyword. They all should match on a one-to-one basis.
And I'm noticing, John, on the right-hand side, the ad type is showing responsive ads, expanded ads. I realize that might be a little too deep a dive, but let's touch on that just briefly because I think it's important.
Yeah, every ad group, as a general rule, should have 2 expanded text ads and 1 responsive search ad. And I'll just use construction software, for example. We have 4 ads in total. We have 1 responsive and 3 expanded. Now, we'll have a minimum of always 3 ads, 1 responsive and 2 expanded. If you're A/B testing one ad versus another ad, you might end up with more. But as a general rule of thumb, at a minimum, you should never have 1, you should never have 2. You should always have at least 3, 1 responsive search ad, you can see that in the ad type here, and 2 expanded text ads.
And that comes directly from Google, right? That's their own best practice.
Yeah, that's Google's best practice because it works best with the majority of their algorithms to identify what is going to be the best ad to show to the end user.
Got it. That's awesome. All right, so if you're watching this, you now know how to go in and check your ad strategy and copy. If you haven't seen videos 1 through 3, please go back and watch those, but keep your eyes peeled for video 5. In the meantime, if you want us to evaluate your campaign for you, we want to do that. We want to earn your business. In the interim, thanks for watching. Reach out to us with any questions. John, as always, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We'll see you all next time.
Awesome.